This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I want to mention this show that we just recapped here, this Monday Night Raw, is one night after the No Mercy pay-per-view, which was a decent card, but it fell to its lowest rating in its normal time slot for a non-holiday show since March 30th, 1998. To put that in perspective, that's before Raw was able to end the 83-week streak of Monday Nitro, and that was against a Nitro and Monday Night Football. But boy, it's starting to taper off here in a major way. I also want to mention there's some other news from that episode of Raw. Meltzer would write, RVD pinned Show after a Van Daminator and a Frog Splash in 445. Originally, this match was supposed to be Rob Van Dam versus Undertaker. Plan A was for RVD to win, but kind of give him some steam coming off the pay-per-view loss. Plan B, not because Taker refused to do the job, but because several agents felt it would send a bad message for RVD to beat Taker, at least to the dressing room. They set up a finish where Austin would interfere and cost RVD the match. With Austin out, they couldn't come to any sort of agreement, so they just scrapped it and put Show in the spot instead. Do you remember there being some, I don't know, backlash against Rob Van Dam? This is interesting to me that, hey, we can't have Rob Van Dam beat the Undertaker. What sort of message does that send to the locker room? That seems silly to me, Jim.
It is silly, Conrad. And I didn't know our agents were so benevolent and so caring and warm. And they thought it was the right political thing to do. They were trying to protect Taker. I understand their loyalty, and I admire that. But Taker had no issues doing business. I think that one of RVD's strikes was the fact that he was being endorsed so strongly by Heyman.
I see. Heyman is your commentary partner, just to give context for that. This is the era where Lawler's out, so he's probably beating that drum pretty hard, and maybe that's rubbing some guys the wrong way. I like that.
It could have been that way because Paul could be very abrasive if he had the audience to be abrasive in front of.
Right.
And he's also very cerebral because he's so goddamn smart. And I'm not saying that in a facetious way. Yeah. He really is. But he could be dogged. He'd be a great salesman.
He is a great salesman.
Yeah, he is. Look at him now. He's a difference maker in WWE.
For sure.
And I'm happy for him. He's still a friend of mine. He was always a friend of mine. We argued like cats and dogs, but it's so what?
Right.
I thought we had a good team. I thought he and I did well together. I enjoyed working with him because he generally would figure out a way to piss me off. And when he did, then I would be Red Ass JR before Red Ass JR was making hot sauce. So, but I think that had an issue that Rob's biggest advocate, no pun intended here, was Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman had some issues with some older decision makers and older agents because he was more of a contemporary thinker. He was very smart. And sometimes Paul would come up with things that even though they may have tried to shoot holes in, it just didn't work. He was a smart guy. So I think that was the issue there because you can't say it was Rob Van Dam's ability. Right. Rob Van Dam was great in the ring and one of my favorite guys to watch and call matches for. He kept reinventing himself. He kept introducing new things into his repertoire and he got over. He got over. So instead of going with what's getting over, again, decisions like this are what made that alliance thing fail. And I don't know that Vince ever had confidence in it. I was surprised that we did it. I was even more surprised that we cut it short because I thought that this show, as we'll talk about here, that match was the show, in my opinion. Not to denigrate any of the other boys and ladies on the show, but that one match, and I love the fact that it was an elimination match. The boys didn't like it because that meant you got a lot of finishes.
Right.
Oh, I got to protect myself. Can you imagine trying to come up with something that's going to protect 9 finishes?
No,
Silly.
It's a little silly, but they get back on the right track with what they're trying to accomplish with Rob Van Dam. The next day at SmackDown in Omaha, we would see the Dudleys defeat the Hardys to win the WCW tag titles. And then unbelievably, with a little help from Test and Booker T, Rob Van Dam beats The Rock. So what they were trying to do on Raw with The Undertaker, The Rock steps up and does it here at SmackDown. The next week at Raw, Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin are going to team up. And they're going to defeat the OVW tag team champions, the Prototype and Rico Constantino. By the way, the Prototype is John Cena. How about that? Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Shelton Benjamin. This is before the cameras are rolling. That's wild, dude. The next level, the next class of talent is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think that we're trying to get to that.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a method to this madness. We were trying to get to the fact that it was obvious we're going to use Lesnar and Orton and Cena and Shelton and Batista. All those guys are in one class that we sent to OVW. So it was just a matter of how do we bring them in with some sort of fanfare that is significant and it will enhance and quicken their name identity and their ability to get over. So, but we were on that road. And I think that was a decision. I think that having those guys may have been one of the main reasons that Vince wanted to say, we're done with this deal. We're done with it because I got guys coming that are young and new and fresh. And this is where we're headed. We're going here. We're not going there.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're going to notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.